It is now.
Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. If everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please think if you do our roll call.
Ginger Shank.
Here.
Chris Barton.
Here.
Sarah James.
Here.
Jeff Schneider.
Here.
And Carolyn Spraggs.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I will entertain a motion to amend or adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We have adopted the agenda. Okay, board norms are something that in the past we've read out loud, but it's just something that we can look over and make sure that we're all following the same expectations and running the meeting smoothly and efficiently. Next up is recognition. So Dr. Tansmith, if you could share.
Yes. First off, thank you all very much for coming tonight. And just to tell the board a little bit about this, in the first week of school, as we all remember, is a record-setting heat wave. And I was watching all these other school districts close, and superintendents are texting like it's a snow day, like, hey, you guys staying open, what are you guys doing? And if it wasn't for these folks, we would have probably not been able to keep our doors open and have our kids come to school. So I couldn't be more proud of all of them and everything that they did to go above and beyond to make school happen. And when our doors are open, we need to be open and our kids need to be able to come in. So we're going to recognize them tonight. So thank you all for stepping up and doing everything that you do every day, but particularly when it was so hot without the air conditioning and everything that you did. I greatly appreciate it. So we have a little bit of an issue though, just so you know. Our board president is sick tonight, so she's not here, and she signs all of these. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand you these, or Sarah will as she fills in, and then we'll get a picture, but I'm going to need these back to get them signed from our board president, and then I will deliver them back to you. But really just want to say thank you and very much appreciate all that you do. It's just been wonderful. So let's get started. So we'll start with our Daniel Boone Kitchen staff. If you all could come up and stay up there, and we'll get a picture. So we had Lindsay Dykeman, Sheila Grunfield, Karen Petersmeyer, Marie Smith, Liz Bynum, Kim Terry, and Susan Vineski. Thank you. I always say it wrong. Every time. All right. You guys want to come over here? There, go over. Oh, that's good. We'll go this way.
We do a picture, yeah.
Yeah, we go get a little better background. Yeah, get the picture, Brett. You do a good shot. All right. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Very good.
We'll give them back, I promise.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Dana Boone. We are sorry the air conditioning was not quite working, but we are glad it's working now. So thank you guys very much. Okay, so in transportation, again, we have several buses that don't have air conditioning, and our shop is not air conditioned. And so Dale Smart, Leonard Portillo are our mechanics who are out in the heat every day, keeping the buses running. And then our drivers, Maria Nelson, Donna Noonan, James Moots, Christine Wilson, Carrie McKinney, and Caitlin Menifee and Cammie Brown were our drivers who just did great. So thank you guys for doing all that you do, and come on up and we'll take a picture.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were Jeff. I told her you
No,
did.
good guess.
That's me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
I think I handed you two.
Oh.
Could you guys help me out? Thank you. That's oh wonderful.
Are any of your mechanics coming?
fine.
Look at those amazing smiles. That's perfect.
Thank you, guys. I was a bus kid, so thank you.
Give them back.
Yeah, we need a and we'll get them delivered to you soon, hopefully.
Thank you.
And so, our last but absolutely not least group is our maintenance department, Walt Sanderson and Tom Parson. I went and saw them several times. Keeping Rebecca Boone alone running was impressive. And all the other buildings themselves, but particularly Rebecca Boone, I don't know how you guys did it.
Was it palm branches?
It was there. These guys are up on the roofs, 120 degrees, and just really doing everything they can to keep the kids and teachers cool. So thank you guys for all that you did. And come on up and we'll get a picture.
Thank you guys so much. Well, thank you so much. Yes, and I will take those right back. Okay, and I'll let them know.
Hold it hostage until I get over there, right?
You really I feel like moving chairs. Okay, those of you that came for the recognitions, you're welcome to stay. Christine, did we get you? Okay, great. So you're welcome to stay, or head on out if you like.
Oh, you can't go. Right. Rich wants to know if he's.
Rich can do whatever he wants.
We're so grateful for them keeping our school cool. And now we are ready for patron comments, if we have any. No patron comments. Okay. We have now moved on to superintendent reports.
Yes, our first one's curriculum. We have Dr. Strunk and Ms. Tia Etcher here to go over curriculum.
You have a flashing light, Dr. Oh, there we go.
Just press it. Don't.
Talk loud if I do.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Strunk. I am the District Math and Science Curriculum Coordinator, and this is Tia Etcher, the District ELA and Social Studies Curriculum Coordinator. We just want to thank you all for allowing us to be here this evening to highlight the Warren County R3 Curriculum Program and all the amazing work that the members of our curriculum team have accomplished this past year. So who are we? For those that are new to the board, Tia and I wear many hats. I am the Math and Science Curriculum Coordinator, like I mentioned before, but I also help coordinate the Fine Arts content area and the PE and Health curriculum. I'm also the lead admin for our Canvas Learning Management System, and I'm also the lead chair for our District Professional Development Committee. I am a former elementary teacher from Warrior Ridge Elementary, and this is my 19th year in the district.
Good evening. As she stated, I'm the ELA and Social Studies Curriculum Coordinator. I also coordinate world languages, practical arts, media specialist, and counseling curriculum. I am the district testing coordinator, and I'm a former elementary teacher at Rebecca Boone, and this is my 23rd year in the district. We want to start off by reviewing our current board adopted curriculum writing plan and process. This year, all elementary content areas will meet quarterly, which are ELA, math, science, and guidance. The secondary content areas will also meet quarterly, and these are ELA, math, science, guidance, and world languages. These curriculum teams will be responsible for evaluating, writing, reviewing, revising, renewing, and facilitating the implementation of the curriculum, instructional methods, activities, and assessments. It is important to note that as we are developing new curriculum, all unit assessments and resources are directly aligned with the Missouri Learning Standards. All high school AP courses are aligned to College Board AP standards and Missouri Learning Standards. Everything that we create and evaluate during the curriculum writing process always encompasses our district CSIP goal. Focus area 1, student achievement. Goal number 2 states 75% of all students in grades K through 8 will be reading on or above grade level or have achieved 1 year's worth of reading growth per year over the CSIP cycle. Goal 3 states the district will develop a system to collect longitudinal math data K-12 by the end of the 2023 school year.
We also center our work around these 4 corollary questions. What do we want our students to learn? What should the learning plan look like? How will we know when students have mastered these concepts? And how can we make our curriculum as streamlined and user-friendly as possible for our teachers? Here is an example of our 6-year curriculum writing and purchasing cycle. One of our goals is to always make our district curriculum easily accessible and user-friendly, especially for new teachers to the district and new teachers to a grade level or a course. Because of this, we created the Warren County R3 Curriculum Share Drive. Our Share Drive is a Google Drive that is shared through the district and is the source for our grade level common assessments, instructional resources, and our district curriculum. Once teachers access the drive, they will find their content area and grade level. Then they will locate their teaching units. Every unit consists of a unit framework. Each framework consists of a unit overview, the Missouri Learning Standards that are addressed in that unit, the duration of the unit, essential questions, as well as the most up-to-date assessment and resources to support the unit.
In an effort to be transparent with the curriculum we are providing in our district, parents have full access to our district curriculum through the Warren County R3 website. Parents can view scope and sequences, standards addressed in each unit, essential questions, and the unit overviews.
We also wanted to quickly share some highlights from the 22-23 school year. The curriculum teams created 384 learning units for math, ELA, social studies, PE, and health. We are continuing to develop and build common assessments in Canvas for 2nd through 12th grade students. We purchased the Renaissance Star Reading Assessment to fulfill the state requirement of having a state-approved reading assessment. We purchased new social studies resources for K-12 classrooms. We purchased new PE and health resources for K through 12 classrooms. And we continue to work on the implementation of Canvas Data 2 into Pulse Data Platform. A huge responsibility of our team is to make sure that all of our new teachers to the district are trained and prepared for the first day of school. This year, we offered a variety of professional development opportunities to help prepare our new and returning teachers, as you see on the slide. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I just wanted to remark as a parent how much I appreciate the transparency, the fact that I can look ahead and see what are the things that my kid is expected to learn this year, and even I could look back and see what their previous grade was and see what they've already learned. And so I know that other parents from other districts are constantly trying to figure out what is their kid learning or what is their kid going to learn. And I love that our district has it right there for anyone, even if your kid's not in school, you could be seeing what's Warren County R3 teaching the kids. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Yes, I've got a question. It's probably a loaded question, but is there something that you guys as curriculum coordinators would like to have that you don't feel like you have the resources for? Or, like I said, it's a loaded question, so if you don't have an answer, that's okay. Just something that brought
subs. We would love subs to
So
get our
if you guys are out and for their
Yes,
kids,
yeah, no, just subs for our teachers
Oh,
to get here, and so just to relieve the stress off the principals, you know, just to make that a little bit more of a stress-free type situation. Really, that is our #1 issue that we've had for probably since COVID. But as far as like resources go, I think we are resource rich in this district. So we've never really had to turn down teachers for anything that they needed in their classroom. So we're really grateful for that.
good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I would like to comment on your resources. The number one resource that we have are people like you. Thank you very much.
Oh.
And our teachers do a great job, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Barton, we appreciate that, thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will be right back up.
And this we have a professional development report from
Okay.
Dr. Strunk.
Yes, thank you. Okay, good evening again. Again, I am Carrie Strunk, and now in this role, I am in the lead chair for our District Professional Development Committee, and I'm here to highlight our PDC goals and upcoming professional development that we are offering teachers in our district. This slide highlights the 23-24 district PDC representatives from around the district. As you can see, we have a well-rounded group that come from all buildings and instructional areas to give us a really good perspective of the professional development needs of our staff. And a new addition to our committee this year is our mental health liaison. We really wanted to add this member to our team to ensure that we are doing our best to meet our goals of developing PD to support the mental health of our staff and students. All the decisions that come from our district PDC revolve around our district CSIP goals that you can see here, along with the district PD committee goals that you will see on the next slide. As we stated in the curriculum presentation, a huge responsibility of our team is to make sure that all new and returning teachers to the district are trained and well prepared for the first day of school. This list here on this slide includes the professional development that was offered last school year. Another important tool that we use to gauge teachers' professional development needs and interests is the PDC survey that we send out every spring. This survey will allow us to plan accordingly for the next school year and coordinate professional development opportunities for our teachers. Included in this slide and the next slides are the results from the 2023 PDC survey. Some of the survey question samples were preferences of content and non-content based PD, teachers rating the value of vertical team time collaboration, rating the value of their grade level or department team time, preferences to bringing in outside presenters or using district experts, preferences on district-wide or school-wide or small group PD, and interest in de-escalation strategies and PBIS professional development. Based on the survey data gathered from teachers across the district, effective classroom management strategies, learning loss interventions, and technology professional development are among the highest suggested topics to consider when planning for the 2023-24 professional development calendar. All of these topics suggested by teachers were considered when planning for this calendar year. And based on the 2023 PDC survey results, here is a list of the upcoming PD that we have coordinated for the remainder of the school year for individual buildings and district-wide initiatives. Since we are still in the early stages of planning for the year, we will be adding to this list as the committee meets monthly to discuss plans for each monthly PD day in the district. We also have created a district PDC website that is a one-stop shop for teachers to visit that includes important PDC forms, the professional development calendar, and important PD resources. Do you have any questions for me? Okay.
I was just gonna say that I think it's really important for us to be aware of what the teachers are learning, because where our teachers are guided is where our students will be guided.
Absolutely.
And so, just seeing how much of this is about curriculum, how much it is about helping with the classroom management, helping students de-escalate, and working also with all the tech stuff, since that's always advancing. I just appreciate that. I feel as though a lot of that aligns with what the board's trying to move the district towards, and so I appreciate all the information.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for the feedback. We appreciate it. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Dr. Ross is going to go over our staffing program, which there's some good information in this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Oh, it's all good. So while we get this queued up, just to go over this was something that we were extremely nervous about when it came time for the hiring season this previous year. You know, all the headlines everywhere you looked were talking about staffing shortages and how schools could not fill positions. And as we kind of looked out into the landscape, and especially with the difficulties that we encountered and tried to overcome during the year last year, you know, we were very nervous heading into the hiring season. And now that you know, the dust has kind of settled on that, we're very pleased with how things turned out here at Warren County R3. So our goal, and you can read the sub-steps there, but ultimately we want to retain 90% of staff. We want 90% of the folks that are with us right now to still be here when I'm speaking with you next year. And so that's always going to be our goal, and we're going to continue to do the things that we do in order to make that happen, and I won't belabor those points on there. In terms of certified staff, we have 41 new faces with us this year. Of those, 37 are classroom teachers, and I have a breakdown of what those other positions are below that. We have a new director of early childhood, a new assistant principal, a new speech-language pathologist that we hired out, and then a new psych examiner as well. Good blend of experience and first-year teachers. 19 are bringing in previous experience, and a good blend across the district too, so almost even splits between elementary and secondary as well. In terms of what we're looking at for retention rate, when we factor in the fact, and this is always so difficult because we have people that from in-district transfer from one position to a next one. We have positions that come and go. We added 2 positions this year. But essentially what we're looking at is a retention rate of 84% with all certified staff, which is up from 82% last year. Obviously we're still not at that 90% goal, but especially considering the circumstances with which we were faced going into the hiring season, we're very happy to see any sort of increase in our retention rate. When we isolate just teachers, we find that it's even just a tick up from that, 85%. So 85% of the teachers that we had last year are still with us, and of course we'll always strive to make that higher, but we're very happy with that percentage. So for those that did leave, you know, conducting exit interviews with them, I managed to get responses from 21 of them, and you know, ask them for the reasons why, and I have them listed there. And then the ones that sort of repeat, you can kind of see are the bigger pieces of the pie there. Typically, or I guess what you might expect, the 2 biggest reasons our teachers decided to move on our certified staff were proximity of the work location to their home and salary. You know, I don't think those 2 things are telling any secrets. That other bigger piece, the purple piece of the pie there, the culture of the current workplace. I mean, it looks bigger, but when you talk about 19% of 21, that's 4 people. So I did have a meeting with all of the assistant principals this past Monday at our first professional development day, and we looked at this and we discussed it. Dr. Klingensmith has a culture and climate survey that goes out for the buildings all year, but each of those buildings have internal processes and procedures that they're going to have in place for this year, and they do every year, but you know, making sure that they're doing the things that they need to do to make sure their folks that they're keeping the culture up in their buildings on an individual level. And so that'll be something that is a point of emphasis for them. In terms of administrators, we saw a much improvement here. Last year we saw a lot of new faces in terms of administration. This year we really only have 2. This is when you don't count the 2 in-district interim positions that went ahead and then took that position on full-time. Dr. Quintana at the middle school and then Mrs. Omis at the high school. And so we really only have 2 new faces in terms of administration, which is a 91.6 retention rate, which is great. So we meet our goal in terms of administrators. In terms of classified staff, this is especially tricky when you talk about people moving, because we'll even have classified folks that take on multiple positions within the staffing plan. So it gets real tricky in trying to figure out a retention rate. But when we take a look at, again, just the names that were here last year and then are still here with us, we're at 81.5%, and that's up, I mean, 4% I think is significant from the previous year. But more so, and I guess what's more meaningful to me anyway, in the position that I hold, is this slide. And that was when I stood here in front of you last year, I was ringing the bell, concerned about vacancies that we had going into the school year. And so when we're going into this school year, we see a much, much different landscape. Paraprofessionals, I stood here in front of you and I said, we're short 11 people. Now I can tell you that we're short 1. And that's something that, again, that person's in the staffing plan. Well, all of our immediate needs are covered. And so that's something that is extremely, I guess, positive from my desk. Custodians, food service as well, maintenance. Even though we were fully staffed at this point last year, we had 4 folks retire over the course of the year. And so, you know, the fact that we're only looking for 2 is great. Bus drivers, we still need bus drivers. That number 3 is a little bit deceiving. That's to cover all routes. In the staffing plan, there are more bus driver openings, and they would certainly, Dave was still here, he'd tell you he'd take as many as he could get. So we still need bus drivers if you know anyone, but other than that, this is a much, much more positive picture than what we were looking at this time last year. So successes, first and foremost, is paraprofessionals. I feel like this is something that Dr. Klingensmith and the board really kind of addressed in a directed, pointed sort of way over the course of the year, and I think that we can say that those efforts have paid off. And really the greatest benefit to that is our students that need that extra attention the most, they're getting it, and we can guarantee that they're getting it now. And so that's our job. That's what we're supposed to do, and we can meet that promise. And another success, and I know that this was when I put our new certified staff out on Facebook and, you know, just introducing them, this was something that we got a lot of the comments on, things that our constituency, for lack of a better term, I guess, picked up on immediately, is that a lot of our new staff have roots to Warren County R3. They were either students here and alumni, or they live here, or they did their student teaching here, or you know, something along those lines. But almost half of our new folks are there. And so when we talk about retention rate, we really feel like this is going to be something that, you know, hopefully this can snowball. You know, the folks that have roots here will be more likely to stay. And not that we have anything against folks coming into the district. We value their experience as well. But this is just exciting. And exciting to see that our students especially want to come back and work for us. So action steps, we're going to continue that. You know, just continuing that whole from student to staff member here, and then continuing the program's aspiring leaders, teachers that want to step into leadership, you know, keeping our leadership in-house as much as possible, because hopefully if we are mentoring and we're developing in the right way, then that's just going to be a natural step. That's something that, you know, when we talk about a lot of our new leaders are people from in-house, that's something I'm personally very proud of, because I feel like we're doing what we need to do then. Assistant leader cohort, meeting with all the assistant principals, helping them take the different steps that they need to assume greater responsibility later on. But then the other action step, as always, is always going to be look for what is the most competitive package that we can offer our staff. We're still very much in an environment where there is a lot of opportunity. In fact, that was when I met with the new folks, that was my first question for them was, why Warren County? You know, there's a lot of opportunity, and so why us? And so learning from that and leaning into our advantages there is something that we'll be looking to do as we move forward. And pending your questions, I believe that's the last slide. Lucy, this thing doesn't work anymore.
The only question I have is, I know that we were able to shift the pay for the one-to-one paras, the high needs paras. Do you know if any other districts have also done what we've done, or are we extremely competitive in that way?
I would say we're extremely competitive in that way. A lot of, like, if you were to look at job postings for paraprofessionals in other districts, they will tend to separate their pay based upon their level of preparedness. So like because there's a number of different ways that you can become a para. So if you have the 60 credit hours, that might be a district's level 1. And then if you meet the sub-certification course, that 20-hour online thing, that might be a step 2. Every district does it a little bit differently. But I think that even just with what we're doing with our high needs paras, I think regardless of what that salary is based on, we're competitive. Now, there are some districts, you hear stories like it's incredible what they're paying paras. You know, really probably on par with their first year teachers, I would think. But but yeah, short answer is yes.
Good to know. Thank you.
Going back to the pie chart that you had brought up, I know that you said that you're already working on the culture portion of current workplace, but that one really stuck with me because other than the culture of the current workplace, there was also support from building or department and then support from district leadership. Is there anything that, to me, those all seem all-encompassing, you know,
Sure.
like, I think part of the support affects the culture of the workplace. So is there anything that you've done to kind of look at those aspects as well?
So something that I'm personally doing with our new staff, I check up with them twice a year. And so all of our new folks that are in classrooms, typically right after the end of first quarter, I will go meet with them and we'll have a conversation one-on-one and find out, one, how is their onboarding experience, what can we do to make that better, and then, you know, how are things going? And then towards the end of the year, I try to catch up with all of them again. And so that has just been for our first year staff, you know, with the steps that the buildings are taking to identify, you know, concerns with culture and things of that nature. Typically these things are anonymous, so it's hard to follow up in a deliberate way on those sorts of things, but I know this is something that's extremely important for building principals as well. I know that the survey that Greg does at the end of the year, every year, or about spring break time, is something that is, I don't know, something that the building principals take extremely seriously. So it's something that is definitely a point of emphasis.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm glad that you do the polls, and I'm definitely glad that he does multiple polls throughout the quarter, but then the action steps that follow are always good to know.
For sure.
Right, and we rely a lot on our staff too to communicate with us. I know our building principals do a great job of trying to get that information out of how do we improve, how do we get better. I know that's something we always talk about every year in negotiations, and then that's kind of the formal stage, but I know our principals are doing that on a regular basis throughout the school year. So it is something that's always on our radar, is how do we make this the best working environment possible.
And I guess that's one thing, you know, you point to certain action steps. That is something that I've never worked for another district, so I can't compare it, but there are a lot of avenues for our staff to bring concerns, whether that's through principals advisory, whether that's through their union representatives that meet with superintendent's advisory team throughout the year. You know, the negotiations process is something that not all districts do. And so throughout the year, there are opportunities for staff to bring these concerns and have them heard and have us work on them. So maybe, I don't know, another potential step maybe to encourage more of that or make that wider spread. I don't know, but that is something that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dr. Ross. But that really does help us address things quickly. Like we met Tuesday and we're working on things now. You know, so it's just we're 4 weeks into school, and so okay, let's solve the problems before they get to be too big. Sometimes we just aren't able to get them solved right away, but for the most part, it's a good avenue, I think, for people to communicate and let us know what's going on.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Other questions? That's all I got. Thank you.
Still working? You said broken.
I couldn't, it wasn't clicking for me at the end.
All right, let's see.
You have stronger thumbs than I do.
We're working out on the total. You know?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so just a monthly financial report is normal. Operating revenues year to date are a little bit down, and the expenses are slightly up compared to last year. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but fund balance is higher than it was previously. Revenues is mainly from federal funds. We'll get into that in just a second. So here's our line. Not too, the slope is similar, maybe a little bit more of expenditure, just like we saw in the percentages there, but not too far off. And so to kind of get into that, our federal funds is the one that's down quite a bit, and that's a lot of that is our Title I funding. We didn't receive our Title I funding in August like we normally do. They had just some questions the way we had it coded and certain things worked last year, now it didn't work this year. So anyway, now it's all approved and on its way, but we just didn't get it in August, so there's some timing there. And local revenue is up, which is good, and state's up as well slightly. So federal is where we're short, and that'll make itself up without a problem. So then in our expenses, salaries are up a little bit as to be expected, benefits are up a little bit to be expected, and purchase services are down. Now supplies are way up, and I looked into this, like, well, what's going on here? A lot of it was curriculum purchases. We spent most of our budget right away, so it's just got that spent. And then the other thing is last year we only, our electricity bill was about half of what it should have been, and they caught us up the next time, so we had a little bit of a billing issue last year at this time from them, so that number last year is actually lower than it should be, and so that's kind of the main supply differences there. So nothing too alarming, even though it is off, but nothing, it's like, whoa, it's a problem, but it's looking okay. So then Fund 4, we got 1.5 in the account right now, and so that's finances.
I think the other thing I keep in mind is that when it comes to salaries, now everyone's like steps and everything
Right.
has been like remedied, and so that's going to just.
Yeah, we expect to see more in there, right?
Does anyone have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, we will move on to the consent agenda. Includes our bills, minutes, personnel sheet, campus contracts, other items. Does anyone have any questions about anything that's inside of the consent agenda? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay. Moves forward. Next up is old business. So we have the COVID safe to return to school plan. I know that this is something that we have to do. And so we have this time, 6 months from now, and then the final time we will look at this plan is
Hopefully one more time.
only one more time.
Yeah, then it expires in September 2024, so.
Great.
So that will be really great. I'll be really thrilled with that.
This is more of a formality.
This is a formality, but we do have, it is a document, and it is a kind of a governing document of how we operate. But just to be, truth be told, I don't really monitor this super closely, but we do have it. We want to follow what's in it. So the some changes we'd like to make is the requirement right now to send an email home if a student is positive for COVID. We don't do that for any other illness, and so we just like to be consistent with all of other illnesses that we have. So we just strike that out of there, basically. And then attendance, in the last 2 years, the state had given us some leeway on how attendance was coded for students that had tested positive, and that has expired, so we're just aligning to the state there. And then it was brought to my attention that in the separation from school, it says we will give students a mask. I would like to change will to maybe give students a mask. I know we're not doing that, so that needs to change. So maybe we want to prove it as amended.
Okay.
That would be.
Would you want to just omit that sentence completely, or still leave it in there?
We might just leave it in there as may, because I kind of forget what's required to be in there and what's
Okay.
not. There, I know each of those headers were for sure requirements, and we just say may, or we could just delete it. I don't think it'll hurt anything to delete it. I'm fine with that. But just so people are aware that a nurse might give them might offer them if they wanted. I just don't know that they do or don't.
Yeah, if nurses have it on hand, there may be some students that would prefer to have a mask.
Yeah.
So I'm fine if it stays in there just since a student might want one, and now they
Right.
know that it could be an option.
Yeah. Yeah, just changing it from students will be given a mask to wear to students may
Right.
receive,
Offered,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe offered a mask to wear, yeah.
Sure. Good.
So then, when the motion is made, it would be make it a motion to be amended.
As amended.
As amended.
Yeah, no, I'll just make the change.
questions, I'll make a motion to approve the COVID safe return to school plan as amended tonight.
I'll second. Both sides.
Yeah, we can give it to Karen. So I heard a motion and a second, and so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It passes. Okay, now we are on to new business. So we have the annual secretary to the board report.
Right, this is just the finances from last year, and this is kind of a formality. We just need to approve this. We ended our operational fund balance last year at 39.58%, which is pretty healthy.
Very nice.
Sorry. No?
Okay. I move to approve the ASBR as presented.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Oh wait, is there any further questions or discussions? I never forgot. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, motion passes. Intergovernmental contracts.
Yes, I was hoping to have contracts, but I don't have any, so there's really no action to take here. The cities have been discussing adding SROs, and there's an article in the paper about it today even, and so I was hoping to have that, but I think they're going to be here next week maybe, or even later, so we'll just wait till next month to approve the contracts once we get them. But I do believe they're going to go ahead and try to post the jobs and be moving forward, so I don't think it'll slow the process down.
Great, next up is policy first read, so we will not be taking action on these items. We are just being made aware that they will be on the agenda for next month to vote on. So if anyone has any questions, or Dr. Smith, if there's any comments you'd like to make to explain.
Sure, I mean, these are just from MSBA to align with new state laws, or the Department of Agriculture participation in federal free and reduced lunch, so those are kind of being forced on us, and so there's nothing there that really jumps out at me as too much. I mean, the only thing that's kind of interesting, I thought, was the school board elections that requires for anybody to run for the school board, they have to live in the district for 1 year. That's new, so that's kind of surprising. But that is the new law.
So we have, is there any questions on them already? So we have
No.
1 month to get questions if we have any, or gain opinions. Okay, now we can move on to miscellaneous. First up is celebrations. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to highlight or share about our district and what's going well?
Of course I have.
Yeah, you got a list over there.
No. It's got curly, so I would remember that. I saw this on Facebook actually this morning. I don't know if somebody else was going to say something about a young lady by the name of Rachel Christie. She earned the Missouri Seal of Biliteracy, which is a huge academic achievement for a top-notch student and an even better person. The Missouri Seal of Biliteracy and Distinguished Missouri Seal of Biliteracy is awarded to graduating high school students in the districts with a DESE-approved program who have demonstrated achievement in English, a language other than English, and social cultural competence. And I just think that's really cool that the school district and Mr. Alderson made a big deal of that and put that on Facebook this morning. So congratulations to Rachel, very, very nice young lady.
And you're not gonna say anything about the football team?
And I will say,
because I got to see them on the road, but I'm excited about calling the next home.
I've not seen them too much in person because of my travel schedule. So I'm excited that they are 3-0 and all this, you know, without saying anything about individually, all the teams are really, really doing well. The soccer team won the championship last weekend. I just think everybody, we just got a lot of good things going on in our district, and I'm just really proud of everybody and all the time and effort that the coaches and the kids and the parents, and we've got parent support right now out the wazoo, and everybody's just really, really excited about what's going on, and I'm excited too. And I know we all are. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really
I was
cool.
gonna say at the games that I
Because you
attended.
even commented the other day.
Yeah, the attendance has been amazing, the community support, I am so proud of how our community has been showing up for our kids, because it matters to the kids to see people out in those stands. I was going to remark again about that community support for Warrior Ridge. The PTO threw an event at GG Sports Park, and I just felt like it was a really great vision of the community support. GG Sports Park let us come out. They, Warrenton Fire Community Group grilled the hot dogs. The Lady Warriors basketball team helped run the games. We had parents serving, we had staff showing up, and we had hundreds of families come. And so I think that that's really what I want to see in our district. It's just everyone coming together and having a great time and connecting. And that was just a one night that I saw it, and I know it's happening in other spheres as well. And so that's something I'm proud of as a board member.
I wanted to mention the wonderful community support that Big Red Boosters has received from some of our businesses to support the programs and the work of the Big Red Boosters. It's phenomenal. They have just been so generous, and it's really great to see everybody getting involved and pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, and I'll jump on that too. You know, Friday nights, we had the football team, which is doing great, doing wonderful. But the band is also just a huge group of students out there.
Yeah.
The cheerleaders are doing a wonderful job Friday night, so everyone coming out. I mean, we have a lot of people coming out Friday nights. It's an exciting time to be there. It's really exciting. So, and then the band has their first competition, I believe, on Saturday. So for those who want to travel to Francis Howell, it'd be a good way to support the band. And just softball's doing good, volleyball's doing great. We've got a lot of good things. Cross country.
Yeah.
We're having a great fall
We
season.
just had an individual, I don't know the young man's name, just won the competition down at
First?
Forest Park, won first.
Philip
place.
Capley?
Philip Capley, yeah, and so,
Yeah.
great job to him, and then I think that the boys team finished third. That was a huge event down there, so just, yeah, lots of great things going on.
Trap, I mean, FFA,
Oh, trap,
I mean,
yeah.
it's really been a great year so far.
Well, I forgot that I'm doing this thing. So next up, next up is for our work session that we typically do later in the month. Dr. Clean-Smith, do you have any suggested topics? Because if we don't have any from you or from the board, then we
Unless someone
typically
has
like
something we want to talk about, get together, I don't have anything that's pressing.
Yeah, because if we don't,
I don't have.
yeah, because we have other opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that we don't meet for a work session. I know we don't need to vote on that, it would just be more consensus. Everyone's nodding, so we are not going to schedule a work session for later in September. But I would entertain a motion for our next regular meeting.
Make a motion to set the next regular Board of Education meeting for October 12th, 2023.
I'll second.
First and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, it's been set.
I'll also make a motion to set the next closed Board of Education meeting to immediately precede the regular board meeting on October 12th.
I'll second.
First and second, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, it's been set. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
I'm gonna give this one to Ginger.
Oh.
Second, second, Mrs.
We're in
Ginger?
sync.
Yes, exactly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, we have been adjourned.
Good job.
Yay, we did